Hello, everyone, and welcome back from Hello to Help. I'm your host, Sarah Kyle. At 2-in-1, we are often the first call families make when they can't find childcare. We know that right now, Michigan is facing a massive gap. Over 150,000 childcare slots are sitting empty simply because the state doesn't have enough educators. Today, we're talking about a major solution launching right now. I'm joined by Becca Tisdale and Adrian Monge, VP and Director of Programs, respectively, with the Michigan Educator Workforce Initiative. It's a great program with a fun title. They're here to talk about their mission to fill every classroom in Michigan with a highly qualified educator. Ooh, that's awesome. One new program is the MiEarly Apprentice. It's designed to turn childcare deserts into thriving communities by supporting the heroes in our classrooms. Love that. Becca, Adrian, I can't thank you both enough for being here. And Becca, I'm going to turn over to you because as the VP of Programs, you're looking at the how we actually get teachers into classrooms and keep them there. For those who aren't familiar with your program, and you're going to give us the beautiful acronym, what are the primary programs your organization is running right now to tackle the educator shortage in Michigan?
Thanks for having us, Sarah. So at Michigan Educator Workforce Initiative, or as we fondly refer to it, MiEarly, we are focused on making sure that anybody who wants to become an educator has an opportunity to do so. You mentioned the massive teacher shortage that we're facing. That shortage is even more extreme in certain settings like special education and early childhood education. What we've learned from our programs is that while there's a shortage of teachers, there really isn't a shortage of people who want to become teachers. We've learned that from some of the programs that there's this untapped pipeline of people that are already working as support staff in schools or working in early childhood settings who want to become fully certified teachers and just need the opportunity to do that. And so our focus is making sure that it starts there, all current and potential educators, including middle school students, high school students who are thinking maybe someday I want to be a teacher, to substitute teachers or paraprofessionals in schools or associate teachers in early childhood settings, that they have the opportunities to become teachers. We also want to make sure that people who are currently educators have opportunities to advance their careers. And we work with systems leaders and school leaders to help them create the conditions that are needed in schools so that all kids can thrive. So we do that by partnering with school systems, experts in the fields, and educator preparation programs, and offer a portfolio of programs that do just that. So again, that includes programs for people who want to become teachers. We have mentorship and leadership development opportunities for existing teachers. And opportunities for leaders. And one of the programs we're most excited about is MiEarly Apprentice, which, as you mentioned, is focused on supporting aspiring and current early childhood educators.
What you just said was a lot, but a lot of beauty. Like, that's a lot of work. I can't even imagine how long it took you to get to this. And Adrian, let's look at that MiEarly Apprentice and start with the why. The statistics that we're sharing are pretty shocking. 98% of Michigan zip codes are considered childcare deserts. Whew, how exactly is this MiEarly Apprentice stepping in and changing that landscape?
Thanks so much, Sarah. As you've shared, one of the biggest factors impacting our ability to serve more children and families in Michigan is the staffing shortage that exists. So one of the main things we're focused on is retaining our existing early childhood education workforce and removing barriers to their advancement. In early childhood, one of the biggest challenges that educators face is they often don't earn enough to afford to go back to school on their own. So when they realize they need to go back to school in order to be able to advance their career, yet they don't earn enough money to be able to do that, we often find that people are leaving the field, not because they don't want to serve children and families and not because they don't love what they do, but because there isn't a path to advancement that allows them to earn a living wage. And so one of the things we are most focused on is removing that financial barrier for candidates who are already committed to investing in Michigan's youngest learners and making sure that we invest in them. And so What we found is there are an abundance of resources right now at the associate degree and the CDA level. The CDA is the Child Development Associate credential. That's the first credential that candidates can earn to serve as an associate teacher in our Great Start to Readiness program, or GSRP, which has now become pre-K for all across the state of Michigan. So programs like Michigan Reconnect through MiEarly and the Michigan AEYC Teach Early Childhood Scholarship are amazing resources that a lot of people don't know about. And so one of the things that we do is help connect candidates who are eligible to those other public funding resources to ensure they can get that next CDA or associate degree. But we've also found that there's very little public funding right now to support bachelor's degrees. And with the change to pre-K for all, a lead teacher in a pre-K classroom does need to have a bachelor's degree and teacher certification. But the challenge is folks already working in the landscape don't earn enough money to get there on their own. And so this is the exact gap that we are working to fill. At the time that candidates move to bachelor's degree completion, that cost of attending school doubles, triples, or even quadruples when they move from a community college to a 4-year college. And so having that financial support is incredibly important. Not only do we provide tuition supports for our candidates, we also provide wraparound support to help address barriers or challenges that might come up through their time enrolled in school. So we're not just supporting them in getting there, we're also supporting them in persisting through their journey and working towards that bachelor's degree and lead teacher certification. And the reason that's really important is because the lead teacher role is the best opportunity to earn a living wage in the early childhood sector. And so it is very important that everyone who desires to move into that lead teacher role and is already committed to serving our children and families has the opportunity to do so. And we have a 100% retention rate for our bachelor's degree and teacher certification tracks, which to me shows the commitment of the existing early childhood workforce, and that if we take the opportunity to help these individuals advance in their career, they are going to make the most of it and continue to serve our children.
Can you repeat that again? 100%. We rarely hear that in a statistic. Can you repeat that one more time? Because I want to really hit hard. That's profound. Will you tell me that one more time?
Yes. Every single candidate who is enrolled in a bachelor's degree or teacher certification pathway with us has continued on that pathway and is still currently enrolled. We actually had our first candidates graduate with their bachelor's degrees this December, and they are now completing their teacher certification coursework.
All right, I have other questions to ask, but you know what that does, right? I mean, that's a true community. And I love you talked about the wraparound. That's what 2-on-1 is for the general public, right? We have this wide variety of services to help people thrive. And you guys are hyper focusing on this specific initiative. And I just couldn't love that anymore. You've got to be so proud. But we'll get back to the real stuff, not just Sarah gushing about this cool program, because we know that early childhood candidates have a lot going on. You were just talking about that. And one of the most exciting parts of this program is that it's cost-free for your students. Tell me more. How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I mentioned, there are some really great programs available to Michiganders right now to support them in going back to school and obtaining their next degree or credential. So we work to leverage all of those programs and then act as a last dollars in program. So when a candidate comes to us, they are matched with a success navigator who is their cheerleader and motivator throughout this journey. Their success navigator uses the information from their application and what the candidate has shared with us to help determine what other financial awards or supports that candidate might be eligible for. So a lot of times we find that candidates who are coming to us don't know that Michigan Reconnect exists or that they can take advantage of that to be able to achieve their associate degree. So we definitely leverage Michigan Reconnect for all candidates who are eligible and send them to our community college partners to complete that associate's degree. We also leverage Teach Early Childhood Scholarships, which are through Michigan AUIC, or the Michigan Association for Educators of Young Children. And they provide funding support for CDA and associate's degrees as well. They also have funding support for bachelor's degree and teacher certification, but that pipeline is currently at capacity with a significant waiting list, which shows there's a huge demand statewide for support to allow early childhood educators to pursue that bachelor's degree and teacher certification. So for candidates who are eligible for those awards, we help them access that support, as well as supporting them through the registration and enrollment process, and provide ongoing support. For candidates who aren't eligible for both awards or aren't eligible for either award, we fill that gap by ensuring that those tuition costs are paid, as well as providing wraparound supports for things like books, technology, childcare, which, as I said, really helps remove those barriers to persistence and make sure that candidates don't just get enrolled, but they also have all of the support they need to be successful in their pathway.
Again, I just love it so much because I think we have such similar goals, right? It's like there's so many programs. If we can get them in the hands of people who need them to work on their own success, we change the community. And I love that you guys are doing this. I really love that it doesn't sound like this is a one-size-fits-all model. You guys have different pathways from the initial CDA credentials to a full bachelor's degree. Becca, can you tell me how the involvement in programs like with Washtenaw County Community College, Northern Michigan University, how it works and how I hear it saves students a ton of money. So I would love to hear more.
Yeah, definitely. As Adrian's shared, we offer 4 different no-cost pathways to teacher certification. MiEarly Apprentice is the only program right now that offers these kinds of comprehensible and stackable pathways. And the program that you mentioned, the partnership between Washtenaw Community College and Northern Michigan University, is a real innovation in this space. It's a program that we've been really excited about for a while and are excited that it's launching. It really serves as a great model for what's possible when a community college partners with an educator preparation program. So the way it works is that candidates can spend 3 years at Washtenaw Community College, and once they complete that part of their coursework, 100% of their courses transfer to Northern Michigan University. And then they go to Northern, they complete their bachelor's degree and their teacher certification. The program is fully online, so candidates don't need to live in Washtenaw County. They don't need to live in Marquette. They can really access this program from anywhere in the state, which is part of the innovation and the beauty of this program. All of our programs are no cost to candidates, but because this one starts at a community college, it allows us to leverage some of the resources that Adrian mentioned, like Michigan Reconnect. So what that does is it allows us to then be able to offer these types of opportunities to more candidates and bring more early childhood educators into schools.
I love that. Adrian, as the director of programs, you see the human side of this. You use Success Navigator models. What is the impact of one-on-one support? Why is that so critical? Why, we're in a place where I can talk to 1 million people with one quick click of my phone. Tell me about that one-on-one support that you guys are offering and what makes it like the gold star.
Absolutely. Success navigation is probably one of the things that we do best. We could all use a cheerleader, a motivator in our daily lives. And that's really what our success navigators are. They are cheerleaders, motivators, coaches, connectors, problem solvers. So from the time a candidate is accepted into MiEarly Apprentice, they are matched with a success navigator who provides support on the front end, making sure they access all of the awards and supports that they are eligible for, walking them through the registration and enrollment process at their post-secondary institution, and then providing that ongoing support. The certification landscape is very complex and difficult to navigate for teachers and educators who are often not just teachers and educators, but they're grown-ups, they're humans, they're parents, they wear many different hats. And so it is a huge advantage for us to be able to help simplify that landscape for our candidates. And when they come to us, they don't have to know what school they want to go to. They just need to share their dreams with us. And then we're able to help figure out where they need to go based on their past experience and where they hope to grow. And that is a huge value that our success navigators provide. Beyond that, many of our candidates come to us having some college, but no degree. And some of those people didn't have a great experience the first time they went to school. And higher ed has changed a lot over recent years. And so we are able to help those candidates see themselves as successful, see themselves as students. And that's some of the most rewarding work that we do. We have candidates say that, the first time they went to school, they weren't successful. And now they really see themselves thriving in the higher ed environment. And as professionals, they see that they are valued and recognized for the work that they do, not just in the classroom, but also the on-the-job experience that they bring. So our success navigation support, again, is really one of the things that we're most proud of. Our success navigators have monthly check-ins with our candidates. They are a phone call, a text message, or an email away every single day. They provide office hours for our candidates, and also that wraparound financial support. And that's one of the big reasons that we've been able to achieve that 100% retention rate across our bachelor's degree and teacher certification track. But our overall programmatic retention rate is 85%. And we are also very proud of that, given the churn that happens in early childhood education. Being able to retain our educators at a higher rate and ensure that they can advance is one of the most important things we do. And our success navigators make that possible.
And they get to hear how the dream that someone may have for their future. So I can only imagine that is a superhero type of position, which we have some of those at 2-on-1, but that's beautiful. And I know you already talked about these beautiful rates of continuation and keeping folks on the path to their own dream. I love that. And I know this started as a pilot in counties like Wayne, Montcalm, and all the way up to Alger and Marquette. Adrian, what does the future look like? Where are you headed next? And most importantly, how do we get involved? How does your audience help to create a place where this is working well for Michiganders?
Yeah, thank you so much. We are really excited to now be expanding to additional counties in the state of Michigan. So we will be in Saginaw and Oakland counties this coming year, as well as Mecosta, Osceola, Crawford, Ogama, Oscoda, and Roscommon. So we are expanding in both urban, suburban, and rural counties across the state. But ultimately, the vision is for this program to be statewide. We have seen that the demand is extremely high, given the statistics you shared about 98% of Michigan communities being childcare deserts. As we expand to new counties, we have found that the demand and the need is there. In our first year, we received over 600 applications in just the few counties that we started. And so the only limitation to our ability to continue to expand is really funding and continued investment in this work and in our early childhood education workforce. We started in very diverse counties because our vision has always been to build a program that could work statewide in all communities in Michigan. And as we expand, we are making sure that our expansion counties also reflect that geographic diversity in our state. Our audience can get involved by visiting our website at miedworkforce.org. The MiEarly Apprentice application is actually open right now for our next cohort. The priority application deadline is March 16th. So if candidates apply by March 16th, they will be considered to start their coursework this fall. And then the application will remain open through May 1st. So candidates who apply after that March 16th priority deadline will be considered to start in the winter semester with us.
So it sounds like there's a pathway for just about anyone who's interested, which I think is beautiful. Again, especially if we want to help all Michiganders. Becca, I'm going to turn to you and say, what is your vision for a supported Michigan workforce? What does success look like for you all, for families across Michigan?
A great question. It is that anybody who wants to become a teacher has the opportunity to do so without barriers. As we mentioned, we know there is a shortage of teachers. There is not a shortage of people that want to become teachers, and we want those individuals to have access to high quality, authentic training programs that give them opportunities to work in real schools with real kiddos at low or no cost. We don't want to see candidates leaving in debt. They should be starting their careers debt-free. We also want experienced teachers to have opportunities for continued learning and career advancement. So that includes opportunities to learn about how to be a strong teacher leader, how to mentor aspiring or new teachers in the field. And we want school and system leaders to have the supports and resources that they need to create joyful learning environments for students where families feel really great sending their kids every day, and workplaces where adults can thrive in their current roles and have opportunities for growth and advancement. So that's our vision, and that's what our programs are designed to do.
That's beautiful. And you've painted a picture that I think anyone listening can just want to be a part of. It's gorgeous. And it's so inspiring, really, to see how you all at the Michigan Educator Workforce Initiative are turning complex funding and all this stuff into clear pathways for folks who want to do this work with you all. I do believe that when we support educators, we support our families. When we support those around us, we support Michiganders. And that's important for our economy. To everyone watching, if you've ever dreamed of becoming a lead teacher or getting your degree in early childhood education, this is your sign. Head over to MiEdWorkforce.org to learn more about MiEarly Apprentice and other beautiful programs. Please always remember, 2-in-1 is here to support you as well, whether you're an educator, a parent, or someone looking to start a new career. If you're facing a hurdle and don't know where to turn, there is a front door, and that is 2-in-1. If you need help, just dial 2-in-1 or text your zip code to 898-211. And don't forget to follow us on social media and visit our website at mi2in1.org for more information. Thank you, ladies, so much. To our audience, thank you for listening, and we look forward to having you with us next time on From Hello to Help.